Hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully this is recording properly. My computer is being a bit wonky, but I wanted to film an update video on how my pregnancy is going so far, and also talk a bit about woven wraps because they make me excited. So far, this pregnancy has been significantly different than my pregnancy with Everest. Um, with Everest, I definitely mentally felt different. In the first trimester, I was so just certain. I just felt very confident in my pregnancy, and there was never really a time that I questioned whether or not my fetus or embryo was like growing as it should. And this pregnancy, I'm definitely dealing with like a lot of self-doubt. I have days where I'm just like, I don't feel as pregnant as other days. And as soon as that happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what if like this embryo is just not growing? Or what if something's wrong? And I'm always like filled with so much worry and doubt. And I have an ultrasound on Thursday, and I am just so excited and hopeful to get a visual of a confirmation that yes, you are pregnant, this embryo is now a fetus, and everything is going as it should. I'm 8 days pregnant, 8 weeks pregnant today, and I've been having like these days where I feel awful. I'm exhausted. I'm throwing up. I'm getting like shooting pains in my breast and shooting pains at my vagina. I'm having these like super intense dreams, all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, like, there you go. You're pregnant. And this sucks. I really don't enjoy it. But then I have like a day or two where I feel like no symptoms and I have tons of energy and I'm like dancing around. And as great as that feels physically, emotionally, it just fills me with this dread of, well, you're not supposed to feel good. You're supposed to feel like crap. And then I just get into these like back and forth conversations in my brain. Now, I have talked to my midwife about this, and I've talked to other friends about this, and it's actually really normal to have symptoms kind of just like disappear for a day or two or whatever. Even though I know it's normal, it doesn't ease that anxiety very much. Like, I have to like constantly kind of like work against my brain and just, keep hopeful, keep positive. I'm definitely experiencing way more cramping in this pregnancy. Like with Everest, I definitely felt like some growing pains, some cramping, but it wasn't anything intense. It wasn't anything that like concerned me. Whereas this pregnancy, like I've had some cramping that's really intense. Like I can't stand up and I am basically sobbing my eyes out because the pain is so bad that I'm convinced that something must be going wrong. But it's the same thing. I speak to my midwife. It's totally normal, especially in your second, third, fourth pregnancies, to have increased cramping and increased pains. But same thing, I can't really quiet my mind. I can't really turn off that worry. And so I'm really just looking forward to getting this ultrasound done and feeling a little bit more secure in my pregnancy. Not that getting an ultrasound guarantees that everything after the ultrasound is going to go perfectly, but at least a visual will be like, okay, you are pregnant. Like, that's all I need. I just need that right now. So I'm really looking forward to getting that ultrasound done. And honestly, like, right now with a 3-year-old, I don't necessarily understand how a baby is going to fit into my life. I know I mentioned in my last video that, like, I'm terrified, and I really, really am. And that's really where baby wearing comes in, because honestly, baby wearing is the thing that, like, makes me excited to have another baby and makes me feel like, okay, with baby wearing, you can do this, because wearing Everest really was such a huge positive in my mothering experience with her. And I just know that by wearing this next baby, I'll be able to do so much more. It won't feel as difficult when I add wearing. I just absolutely love baby wearing. It brings me so much joy, specifically just my different wraps and all the memories that I have with them. And they're just so pretty. I'm not really a materialistic person. Like, I slept in this shirt last night, and I wore it all day yesterday, and I've worn it all day today. Like, I'm not a super fancy person, but I love my fancy wraps. I just love them. I think they're so beautiful. So I wanted to tell you a bit about the wraps that I have and just talk a bit about them. So this is one of my wraps. It's a size 4 wrap, and the size is based off of length. And this one is actually made from recycled plastic bottles, and I just love that. It's not entirely recycled plastic bottles, but like at 40% of this wrap is made from recycled plastic bottles, and I just thought that was so cool. The brand is called Techni, and I'll write out some little descriptions in the comments maybe, or in the description for this video. But this is one of my favorites, and one that I got a little bit later in my wearing days with Everest. So I'm pretty excited to be able to whip it out with a squish soon. Well, not soon, but you know what I mean. This is my longest wrap. It's a size 7. It's very, very long. And I'm actually thinking of getting it cut into 2 wraps, potentially sewn into a ring sling, because it's so long that I don't wear it as much as I would if it were a bit shorter or if it were a ring sling. But this is my Natty Baby Nebula, and I just love it because I love these colors, and I love just the, like, it looks like a galaxy, you know? Just beautiful. And even the other side just has some really, really beautiful blues and purples that I just absolutely love those colors. This is my custom wrap. It's like one of my most precious belongings. I just really, really love this wrap. I had the honor of working with a dye artist, so I actually got to hand dye the fabric for this wrap. And I completely got to customize the colors in it and really had a hands-on experience dyeing the fabric for it. And it's called Crystal Galaxy. I named it that. And it just reminds me of a galaxy, the same thing. I just love these colors. These deep blues and purples and these fuchsia pinks are just like crack to my eyes. I don't know how to describe it, but I just absolutely love this wrap so much. I love it. It's just, yeah, I love it, okay? This was my first hand woven. So like a lot of these wraps were made on machines, but some of them, like my custom, for example, was hand woven by someone who literally, you know, shoots the bobbin through and does everything by hand. This was this was my first hand woven, and it's a size 5. And I just love the colors. Again, like you notice, all of them are very similar color schemes. But depending on the kind of weaves and the kind of fabrics, like some are hemp, some are linen, some are cotton, some are Tencel, some are Repreve, which is the recycled plastic. Depending on the fabrics, you get different thicknesses, different breathability. So it really changes the wearing experience. You know, some are better for summer, some are better for fall. You know, any excuse I can to get more, I will. So this wrap is called Swallowtail Pixie Sticks. It's by Pavo Textiles. Can't really pick up all the purple in it in my camera, but it's a really, really beautiful, deep kind of eggplant purple. And a pretty wrap, but like not one of my favorites. It used to be one of my favorites, but it was, you know, quickly overshadowed by some of my other ones. This is my Baby Hawk, and it's not a wrap, but it's a carrier, and it says vegan for the animals, for the planet, and for peace. And I love it because it's a really good conversation piece. I love wearing vegan shirts when I go grocery shopping and when I go to the park, because it often strikes up conversations with people and I get to advocate for the animals that way. And so I love this shirt because people are always like, oh, what does it say? And then I get to tell them. And then either they give me a weird look or they're like, oh, tell me more. Is your daughter vegan? And I'm like, yes, she is. So this is by Baby Hawk, and I actually bought the shirt from a company and sent it to Baby Hawk, and then they added it to their carrier. So if you have a favorite vegan apparel company, you can actually get a baby wrap or a carrier made from that, which is, I think, really cool. And then this is the last one I have at home. I actually have more than this, but I've lent out a few. And this is my Girasol, and it's a rainbow wrap. Now, wraps like this are really good for learning because when you're tying a baby on, like when you're getting a carry done, sometimes when it's like one big thing like this, it can be a bit confusing when you're going to tighten, because you'll look at what you're trying to tighten, and then you'll look at your rails, which is basically this rainbow. Like, this is your top rail, this is your bottom rail. And when you go to tighten, you don't necessarily know where to tighten. Whereas with this one, like, so for example, if I'm like doing a tie, and then I notice that an area down here of one of the light blues needs to be tightened, I can find the light blue up here and I can tighten it, and I know that light blue is going to translate down. So this is a really good kind of wrap to get if you're just a beginner. And there's so many different carries that you can do, like so many different ones. So it can really just be an endless discovery, and it's a steep learning curve. But when you get into it, when you practice, like, you'll figure it out so soon. If you have any questions about woven wraps or about vegan pregnancies or about anything, we still haven't told Everest we're expecting. I'm thinking I'll do it after my 10-week midwife appointment, and I'll post an update then about how she responds to being told she's going to be a big sibling. So please give this video a thumbs up, and I hope you have a great day.